Screen. Ah! No, I don't even know what's going on. So much scuff. Oh my gosh, today. Oh my gosh, what is even going on? Hello, everyone. Oh my god, yes. Hello, everyone. I do apologize for the slight delay. You see, I said it was a technical issue, but in actuality, it was an issue of my washing machine. It was a technical issue with my washing machine, you see. Because I put the towels in. I had to wash the towels today. And I forgot to do it this morning. So I put them in, not like about an hour or so ago, and be like, yes, it'll be done by then. And then about 10-15 minutes before the stream, it decided to break. There was a jam in the filter thingamajig, so I just had to sit there for a little while and manually drain my washing machine. And I thought that was going to take longer, but luckily it didn't. Yes, this is a Bryony fic. This is a Witch Bryony and Moon Girl and Void Dweller fic. Yes, it's a big self-insert of fanfiction. Does your hat and cloak need washing too? No, they are self-washing. The only things that need washing are the clothes underneath and the towels. No, there was no problem with your fanfiction at all, Void, at all. Yes, we do love some self-insert fanfics. There's nothing like a little bit of sweet, sweet self-indulgence when it comes to writing. We love it. We love it! I did all my posts and thing, didn't I? Yes, okay. I'm a little bit boggled after that. I'm going to have to keep my ear out for the washing because I put it on a drain cycle afterwards obviously because it didn't drain properly. The towels are still soaked, so I may have to jump up and quickly sort them out at some point during the stream. But other than that, let's get down to business to read this fanfic. This is Bryony Rose Smith live from the Forbidden Library, and today we'll be reading a fanfiction about me and Void Dweller and my character's Moon Girl and that world. I will explain any Moon Girl shenanigans that you may need to know about as we go. But for now, shall we get on with it? The Dweller, the Witch, and the Moon Girl. Fanfiction of Witch Bryony. Oh, that's me. Chapter 1. Me, Witch Bryony. Void read his 37th short book, assuming it would apply to his own 10K. His progress was being slowed by his books opening and closing on their own. His tea was getting too cold to drink too fast. At least they have healthier drinks in the Forbidden Library than his usual choice of flavoured water. He couldn't get a Bryony Rose Smith rendition of the Ghostbusters theme out of his head, even though he never made any such parody song. Oh, Void! If you would like burritos, I would like to have you entertain me, since I got bored of these rubbish books for now. Someone said in the voice of Jessie from Team Rocket, but not quite in the same refined way of speak. What do you mean I'm not refined? Rude! I am incredibly refined. I am more refined than Jessie, obviously. Oh, hey. What would you like me to do, Witch Bryony? I asked, curious as to what Witch Bryony wanted to do. As a twist, I got goosebumps and started to feel cold at the sight of Witch Bryony. But I had to hide the fear and mask it with over-optimism. Yes, that is a good way to handle me, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad you asked, my servant Void. I'll bring you and myself into a book within the library that I keep here, while I stayed trapped to read 100K, no, what, not 100K, only 10K books, she said, holding on to a Moon Girl book. Yes, I wanted to see you fight this I mean my creation, of course. I'm talking about Moon Girl. She opened the book and Void was sucked right in. A red-haired woman who was stretching before a sparring match with another kind of battle-hungry lady. There is no kind of in this situation. I know whom you are referring to, and there is no kind of. She is most definitely battle-hungry. This is becoming fun to do to come to the gym and throw down every single day, isn't it? Oh yes, you would enjoy that. Drader said to Selena, also doing some stretches before the fight. I'm not doing the American accent. No worries, boy, no worries. You did very well to match my personality, I believe. I've done a little bit of formatting, so I've seen a little bit of this. And there's a couple of lines I absolutely love, and I'll let you know when we get there, that I think you've absolutely nailed me. Yeah, I guess really does get my blood pumping right before hero work every day. Pretend I said that in an American accent, because I don't want to. Selena replied, getting into her fighting stance. But right before they were able to start fighting, a tear in the fabric of reality opened, with Witch Bridie coming out with Void following, landing on the ground face first. Splat! Oh, don't mind me, ladies. I'll be sitting on the sidelines while my dear servant fights you one-on-one. Now, play as rough as you'd like. He is brittle, but I can heal him up with my magic, so if you cause any life-threatening injuries on my servant, I'll definitely be able to heal him up. Oh! I like that. I like that a lot. It's very good. Witch Bridie said, having a cruel but happy, optimistic voice like normal. Void got up with an angry look. Oh, it's fine. Drader and Selena currently are not important characters. They're just there. This is what Voidy Void, I like this. Now, Voidy Void, save your anger for the people you'll be fighting. If you do somehow beat one of them, I will give you 10 tons of gold as a reward. The witch said proudly, as if they were confident that Void couldn't beat either of them, even if he tried over 1,000,000 times. Drader and Selena's faces contorted to disgust. How could a villain even commit their evil deeds within the walls of the hero's base? It's almost as if she knew exactly where we had this base. Now then, may the show commence, ta-ta! Witch Bridie said, as she flew over the bleachers to watch the fight. Yes, I don't. I'm sure I know an alchemist who could get me some, though. This isn't an entire lie. I could pay you that. But I'm not going to. Ha-ha! Witch Bridie said she flew over to the bleachers to watch the fight. Void threw his jacket on the floor. Oh, great. I get to fight superheroes for 10 tons of gold. He mumbled, complaining about the circumstances Evil Bridie put him in. There will be no gold for you. There will be no gold for you, side villain. How did you find our base? Drader asked, meaning business. I don't know. She's just another stupid reality warper. She wants entertainment, so I'll give her a fight, he said, enraged. He charged at Drader, trying to deliver a fearsome blow to her face, but she sidestepped and broke his arm using her elbow. Then she kicked him, gaining some distance. Correct. No, this will not do. That was too easy, Evil Bridie said to herself, flicking her wrist at Void, instantly repairing his arm as if it had never been broken. The process of Void getting hurt really badly, and Evil Bridie healing him up continued for another 3 hours. After that, Void seemed to be learning from his failures, hitting her and keep getting closer and closer to actually managing to land a decent blow. But is only really able to keep her dead, but yeah. We can do this. But is only really able to graze her. Now, that is not your fault. That is just my bad reading. After 5 hours, he seems to have learned enough to swap hands for brief moments, and then get KO'd, until Drader and Void seem to be at a stalemate. 3 hours makes a lot of sense, yes? Does your tenacity know no end? No any end? Drader asked Void, getting sick of laying him down on the floor. Yes, even Drader would get bored eventually. I'm learning your fighting style, bit by bit. I think I can hang in there until you get tired, he said, frustrated with his foe that just won't wear down. Do you actually believe your witch reality-warping trickster friend? Drader asked, wondering if he's really that gullible to believe she would really have 10 tons of gold. I have the connections. I might not have the gold, but I have the connections. Ugh, how truly boring. They're stalemating. Well, at least she's holding back enough to fight equally with him. But in any case, which Bryony sighed, staring as she then... Oh, I wouldn't be a trickster at all. I would simply be me. I do not fit into the Moongirl universe correctly. Not in the laws that are tricksters there, that is for sure. Although they would class me as one, because they know no different. If you have powers, you are a trickster. They know no different, I suppose. Flicked her wrist at Drader, who began feeling pain in her eyes. She grabbed her face, screaming in pain, as Void looked at her in confusion, arm cocked back, ready to punch her. Oh, what now? Got a headache from the lack of a balanced meal? He asked in a condescending manner. While Void just stares at Drader, her arms drop from her head, with her ear-blasting screams quieting down. It seemed whatever was happening to her finally stopped. Nah, I can go a while without eating you, sighed without eating, comma, you side villain. Otherwise she would have been eating you. Commas save lives. It's time to eat Granny. It's time to eat Granny. We don't want to actually eat Granny. We want to eat with Granny. We don't want to eat Granny. Yes. You're a Dragon Ball Z character taunting your foes, I see. As surprisingly, Drader stared back into the void with lunar eclipse moon red eyes. Her eyes literally looking like 2 blood red moons at close up. No, Granny is not delish. Put that comma there and don't eat Granny. Leave it up for the main hero to get a new transformation, Void said, appearing annoyed at the fact that she got a power-up, seemingly pessimistic about the situation. He lunged over to deliver a double-axe hand, but Drader vanished before it could connect. She punched him in the back, knocking him down to the floor faster than ever before. You blitzed me. We aren't even in the same ballpark anymore. Void shouted at her, furious that he's completely outmatched by her power and skill. Hello, folks. Welcome, welcome. If you get up again, it'll be the same outcome. I recommend you stay down, or you'll just be putting yourself through more pain and agony, Drader stated, which put out what fire Void had within him, making him pass out from pain and exhaustion. No, this isn't our first Sona fanfiction. This is Void's self-insert fanfiction where I am the antagonist and my book characters Moongirl and her friends are also involved. But no furries to be found as far as I know. There could be a twist later on. And there you go, I suppose. We have a winner, which was obviously going to be Trader. Yes, yes. You didn't want to fight Void, normal human, but you did what you needed to get the job done. Evil Briny declared, Trader, the winner. I am fine. What are you on about? I'm absolutely fine. Enemy to lovers? I don't know. I hope not. I still have a bit of a cold, I won't lie. But it is like 99% okay now. I'll be fine. Just the odd cough you'll hear, and that's about it. Maybe the odd snuffle, but that's about it. As she got closer to Trader, she attempted to backhand Evil Briny, who dematerialized into nothing, and then rematerialized in front of Trader. That was rude, but anyways, it was quite the good show, my dear Trader. Evil Briny said, grabbing Void by the back and then teleporting off with him. We're going to format this a little bit as we go. We should have new line for every new person speaking. I guess we have to write a document about that incident, since it was a villain encounter. Not a usual villain, though. They seem to have a really high trick level. I think we should get you to the medical area, just so everything can be checked out, to make sure he didn't inflict any lasting injuries on you, especially since your eyes had changed. Selena told Drada, as she was a bit worried about what happened during the fight. Drada didn't argue. She walked to the medical area without hesitation, hoping to get her eyes checked out. So well, I suppose I should just translate a hot second for those who have not read my books. The origin of the word trick is basically what they used to describe powers. Because when powers were coming around, people assumed they were tricks. They were silly videos on the internet. It was special effects. It was a trick. And eventually that actually became the scientific term to describe the powers that everyone was waking up with. I thought Witch Briny would say she would give you something and then rig whatever game she's making, forcing you to lose. Yes, I would. 100%. So yes, that is what trick is. And then trick level is something to gauge how powerful your trick is. It is a scale from 1 to 100. Just a quick FYI. Villain report! New villain. Witch of the Forbidden World. Oh, I like that title. Estimated trick level 75. Combat level 20. New villain Dweller of the Forbidden World. Trick level 0. No superpowers. Yes, when my boyfriend told me about My Hero a few years later, I was like, oh, that sounds very familiar. I always saw My Hero Academia, though, as a very similar world to mine, if only in a few years in the future, because My Hero Academia, like 80% of the population has superpowers, where I would say it's the other way around for my world, but if it was allowed to go on further, it would end up like the My Hero Academia world, where 80% would have powers. I like to see it as a future version of the world I built. Combat level 35 to 45. Witch of the Forbidden World description. She is a blonde ponytailed woman with an elegant witch hat and dress. They are elegant, aren't they? With red scarlet eyes and a snickering, unforgettable smile. Oh, you flatter me! On her face, with her eyes darkening. If ever does smile. Tricks, magic, and other forms of reality warping. And reversal of damage. Tactics. Which does not only has her underling do all of her dirty work, but from what we've seen, use them for her own entertainment until she gets bored and forces her underling to lose through enchanting me. She didn't even enhance her own underling. It's as if she wasn't even trying to defeat the heroes. Yes, it probably wasn't. It was very entertaining, though. So this explains Void's fanfic got the green light for stream. Yes, compliments that go a long way. Dweller of the Forbidden World. Description. He's a brown-haired guy wearing an I Love Bryony Rose Smith t-shirt. I didn't make that up, that's what it says. A light jacket in the summertime. Tricks the power to keep getting back up, despite his getting his ass beat for the 10 millionth time. He is determined. What can we say? Instant report. It occurred on a normal day. Me and Selena were about to do a friendly sparring match when these two tore a hole in the fabric of space with them coming out, with which lying to his Oh no. Are we back? Are we back? Oh, good lord. It says the connection's okay on my end. We're back, wonderful. I did, OBS did a thing for a hot second there. I'm actually gonna take that moment just to be right back. I can't hear the washing machine and I'm worried. And we're back, and the towels are done. We successfully have clean towels in the house. How wonderful. Where was I? Yes. Definitely smart. Definitely smart. I am back. The witch is not gone, Billy de Bum. How can you want me gone? I'm wonderful! But anyway. Most of what he said wasn't very useful to me, except for when he said that Evil Briny was no friend of his furiously, and those brief moments where he would look at something that wasn't there. I was able to tell that the pain of constantly having bones shattered was starting to get to him, but he managed to power through. It was if it was something he had to do, not something he wanted to do. It's a tough call, but maybe he didn't like working with the witch. It's as if she pays him in fish for his work. I wouldn't pay anyone in fish. I don't know what you're talking about. In the end, the witch did something to me to make me end up winning the fight. All this happened as the wilders watched. It was useless for the dweller. It was all useless. End report. Yes, you definitely did reference something there. And it was a wonderful reference. Chapter 2, Moon Girl. I was in the medical bed, being checked up on. It seemed my eyes induced an aura of what the nurses described as vengeful and caused them unbearable dread and hopelessness if they looked into my eyes. One of them described having seen their worst nightmares upon seeing my blood moon eyes. Tim walked in to talk to me about the whole incident. So, let me introduce you to Timothy, one of the second characters in Moon Girl. He is a hero known as Frigid Hack, and is the mentor of Dreda as she learns to become a hero. He also may or may not have a huge crush on her. Also, he is about to use Dreda's fake name. In the Moon Girl series, the heroes use fake names with each other, so that if a villain came along with some kind of mind-reading trick, then you've distracted me with that amazing pun there, Void. If someone comes along with a mind-reading trick, they won't be able to get real names out of anyone, even if you only use the code names. They got the fake names, and then the code names, and then the real names, and it is something that is a pain in the butt, but hey-ho. So Dreda's fake name that everyone in the Hero Association knows her by is Rosa. I read the report you made, Rosa, and you gave Dweller of the Forbidden Realm a combat level range. Why is that? Tim asked me. I'm going to format as we go. Yes, it is. I'm thinking about putting a little glossary in the next book to sort of remind people of the different names. It is hard to keep up with, and I do somewhat regret writing it. Felt like a good idea at the time. We fought for hours, him ever getting tired in the slightest. He was learning as he fought, but slowly. I answered the question about Dweller's combat range. It doesn't make any sense. The file described her as a reality-warping witch that came out of nowhere. The other villain, though, is just a guy that she has wrapped around her finger. We have to prioritize finding the Dweller. We need answers, Tim explained to me. Okay, but where would the Dweller be dwelling? I asked him. I don't know. But get into your supersuit. We're going to go look for him throughout the city. Both me and Tim headed out of the base and to look for the Dweller. Meanwhile, coming out of a dumpster, was Void Dweller, with a banana peel on his head. Ugh. You call me your servant, yet you throw me out like a stale cup of tea. So much for getting buddy-buddy with Witch Briny. Thanks to her, I'm stuck in this less than safe world. He said, talking to hear himself talk, as there was no one around him to hear. He leapt out of the dumpster, landing on his feet. He looked at himself from a puddle in the water, to see what was the original Briny herself. Oh, now you think she's an evil... Let me do the best impression I can of normal Briny. Oh, now you think she's an evil woman. Void, it took you long enough to realise that, Void! Now you're gonna help me get my body back, or not. Puddle Briny. Puddle Briny. I don't know why that's tickling me so much. Puddle Briny. Puddle Briny asked in a demeaning way, not showing any kindness in the way she talks to him because of his betrayal. I can't tell whether you're actually an apparition or you're just a hallucination fabricated by my own mind. But if you're real, tell me where. I can sleep under a roof for the night. A dumpster won't do, apparition Briny. I told the person in the puddle to give me directions. There's an abandoned house 3 blocks down. Be careful. They should be looking around for you. Ghost Briny answered, giving directions to an old abandoned house that supposedly should have been there. Void did what she said and walked 3 blocks. And to his shock and away, there definitely was an abandoned house. Exactly where Apparition Briny said it would be. Of course she knows where it would be. It's my world. Imagine Briny's body being taken over by something. Now that's funny. I know, it's totally silly, isn't it? It's absolutely silly that there would be another version of me anywhere. That's just stupid. Yes, but it's a very entertaining thought. Very entertaining for the fanfic. Yes, absolutely fictional. Yes. Void did say da-da-da-da-da-da. You doubted me, Mr. Traitor. Void, well, you found the abandoned house, Ghost Briny stated, this time having no reflection to be visible by. Well, you definitely seem to be the real Briny for me. To me, he said, reassuring himself that this isn't his imagination playing tricks on him. He went inside the dark and dusty building, not expecting a light switch. He went to search for a bed to sleep in for the night. Unbeknownst to Void, Moon Girl and Frigid Hag were both following him to the abandoned house. Da-da-da! You have visitors, Void, Briny said through a mirror as Void came across one. He quickly opened a drawer to find a pocket mirror to put in his jacket pockets. Hey, you! We found you! Now give it up, Dweller of the Forbidden Realm! Rosa shouted right behind Void. He clenched one of his fists, but then suddenly remembered how painful it was to get broken over and over again. It made him stick to think about it. He gagged at the thought. He turned around to deliver a punch to Rosa's face. However, she did not dodge the attack. In fact, she tanked it, taking no damage whatsoever. This shocked Void shortly making him even angrier. He punched her in the face several more times to no avail. She got tired of his useless attacks and grabbed his arms. Look at me. If you can tell me what the witch wants, you'll be off the hook for now. But you'll be watched. Rosa explained to Void, as he gazed into Rosa's lunar eclipse blood moon eyes. The moons got bigger and bigger until he found himself in a library in front of two Brinies. One was Witch Briny, and one was the original Briny. Yes, much better. Eh? Yes, I'm much better than you. Sadly, you're no longer needed. I'm the content creator now. Farewell! Witch Briny said, pointing a finger at original Briny, with pink energy coming out of her finger, which then shot a pink beam of energy at the original Briny, who turned her into bubblegum, which evil Briny picked up and started chewing and blowing bubbles on the gum that was originally Briny. Oh, that was a mouthful. Yes, I'm the one who'll be reading to you from now on, Void. Yes, that is the Majin Buu. Of course I wouldn't act like Majin. I mean, Briny's not that bad. It's like when you talked about my enemies is another thing. I mean, chewing up and spitting them out as bubblegum is a whole different thing. Melting my enemies in my mouth as chocolate and eating them fully is not quite the same. Not quite the same. Legend has it if you say bees napalm fire grenade 3 times in a row whilst facing a mirror at midnight, Briny will appear in the reflection. Maybe so. Yes, I'm not being rude now, boy, she said with a smile so evil that it's hard to even match the facial expressions. Back to reality, Tim tapped on Void's head as he wasn't moving. Do you think this is your newfound trick doing its work, Rosa? He asked, making sure she didn't accidentally make him fall into a nightmare. He seems unconscious. And even if he were conscious, I don't think he'll give us the answers that easily. She answered, disappointed that she now has a responsibility to use a trick without any accidents. Shockingly, Void began sparking with electricity. Veins on his face pulsated. He was angrier than ever before. His teeth gritted and becoming more beastly. His eyes became a crimson red, with his pupils turning purple. How dare you? How dare you turn her into candy like you were a witch from of certainty or a Majin Buu? I'll never let you get away with that. He snapped, shocking apparition Briny. But I'm right here, Void. I'm okay. I'm not bubblegum yet. She said before gasping out of realization that he wasn't a traitor after all. So you're going to betray me instead. That is not a good thing. He was just playing pretend with the witch of the Forbidden Library. He then broke free of Rosa's grasp, then delivering a nasty blow to her jaw while receiving a blow to the jaw himself, both fighters spitting up blood. I guess it is all fictional, I suppose. I guess I'm not the only one here who can get power-ups, Rosa commented, now becoming excited. Oh, why don't you pull from your endless pool of power, eh, witch? Because no matter what magic you pull out of your magic hat, I'll just throw it right back at you, Void replied with a snarl, then trying to punch Rosa again, this time being too slow to hit her, missing and punching a hole in the floor, with her returning a fierce kick to the face, sending him flying out of the building on the hard ground. Hey, Rosa. I don't think he's able to see you as you, but you as a completely different person. Yes, fictional you is kicking quite a bit of ass, Tim said, acknowledging the fact the dweller called Rosa the witch, which made no sense if they were working together. Alright, and if he doesn't see me as Moon Girl, then I'll be his worst nightmare. Then maybe I can get answers, putting him in a corner. Back me up, Tim, she replied, noticing the same thing about him. He then got up with a hungry, crazed face. Ah ha 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 ha! Tell me, Blondie, does a witch ever feel hopeless like I once did? Void asked, as we now see what he sees, a witch that sort of resembles Satoko from Higurashi, in a pink dress and hat. Oh no, not Satoko. Oh, you think I'm the witch of the Forbidden Library? Oh, ho, 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 ho. The illusion of the witch laughed at Void, matching what Rosa really said, distracting him long enough for ice pillars to be formed. Rosa took this chance to bounce on the ice pillars, punching Void at supersonic speeds in all directions. Void was able to do was cover his all Void was able to do was cover his head with his arms, paying attention to where he's being hit. He was able to track her speeds and patterns, despite being hit really hard. He then found the perfect moment to clash fists. Rosa prepared to do a finishing blow by leaping far faster than she had up until now. Their fist clashed, with Rosa's breaking into a supersonic boom. She was caught off guard when he not only tanked it, but when he glanced around to notice other buildings nearby. His fist glowed orange like hot metal. He then opened his mouth, created a ball of compressed energy, and then ate the energy from the sonic boom of their clash. Never do that again, Rosa, he said in a calm, composed voice, ordering her, seemingly coming back to his senses. Are you back to your senses? How did you get that strong and make that should have caused a lot of collateral damage to nothing? She asked. I gained energy suppression in response to what perceived as something able to toy with me like a pawn on a chessboard. Yes, that's fair. That you saved a lot of people there, Void. It was a good shout for you to take the energy from that so that the people around didn't have their houses destroyed, though that would have been fun. The ability to eat said energy was what I was unsure of I had until I tried to get rid of that sonic boom somehow. It wasn't something I could just kick into the stratosphere. So to minimize destruction, I decided the best way to deal with it was eating it, he explained to her. Well, that doesn't change your status as a villain dweller, Rose responded, doubling down on the villain treatment. Well, let me ask you something, buddy. My buddy, my pal, my buddy old pal. Do you like the idea of being conceptually erased? She could blink, and my mark on the world would disappear. You do know my reason for working with her was out of fear of existence erasure, not because I liked working with her. You don't like working with me? Why would you not like it? Sure, I could erase your existence, but I mean, surely you had fun being broken over and over again, right? Right? Void explained his point to her, hoping to get her to realize that he didn't want to fight her to begin with. Well, Dweller of the Forbidden Realm, I'm sorry that we had to fight, and maybe if you didn't work with the so-called witch, you wouldn't have to face the consequences of your actions, whether they were forced upon you or not. And why don't you like things that hurt a lot? They're great. They're incredibly entertaining to watch other people get hurt. Rosa explained disappointment in her gas-filled voice, as her voice gas filled the area with Rosa walking off. Void tried to flee, but his feet were frozen to the ground, Tim's freezing ability. Together they walked off, knowing Void would soon pass out from the gas. Apparently she has voice gas now. Naruhodo. The villain log update. Let's have a quick drink. Anything to win. Survival is number one. Trick level. Dweller of the Forbidden Realm. Trick level 50. Combat level 65. New tricks. Energy absorption. Force compression. Flight. Super speed. Empowered regeneration. Yes. 0 to 50. 3.5. If you got the speed. Although that's 60. Shut up and drive. After the Dweller and the witches escaped from us, me and Tim took the night patrol duty to find the Dweller, where the Dweller might be. It didn't take long to find him, due to civilians complaining about a man who smelled like trash. He was found trying to settle into an abandoned house. He never once attempted to mask where he was going. Once I followed him into the house, I tried asking him about the witch, and why he was working with her. He gazed into my eyes after I grabbed his arm, trying not to hurt him. My new trick activated, provoking him into a sort of rage that convinced him that I was the witch, and I turned someone he knew into chewing gum. He didn't see me as me in his rage. State behind in his eyes, and teeth changed, resembling a hungry beast. Me and Tim worked together to defeat him with a plan we formulated. I distracted him long enough for Tim to freeze his legs so that he wouldn't be able to escape while we got answers out of him. As the fight came to an end with my final and most would-be devastating attack being compressed and absorbed by him, he ate a sonic boom, literally speaking. He came to his senses, realizing it was me, and then he gave me the answer he must have thought I wanted. He claimed the witch had an existence erasure trick that he was too afraid of that he would attempt to fight me because of. I didn't believe anything he told me about the witch. Having enough of the lies, I left with Tim to call it a night. End report. Chapter 3. Prison. Let's go. Void woke up behind a reinforced glass wall. Hey you're finally awake. Did you get caught crossing the border? You were just thrown in by Moon Girl and that damn frigid hack guy. What you did must have been serious, or your trick level must be too high for regular officers to be comfortable handling by themselves. Why you in? Said a prisoner across from Void. Wait, let me doing the formatting too. I attacked a trickster because a bigger, badder trickster could have wiped me out, he said to the other prisoner. Ah, I see. You're in for a load of bullshit, just like me, and that trickster to my right, he said, acknowledging Void's reason. This is stupid. Hey, new guy and I aren't meant to be prisoners, the prisoner to his right said. We're D-class personnel in orange jumpsuits now, my friend. Void responded, continuing the obvious reference. Ah, so you picked a fight with Moon Girl and my son! Spoilers! Void spoilers! Spoilers. It's okay, it's not the biggest spoiler in the world. You're funny, yet interesting guy, from what I hear. From you, a reality-bending trickster forced you to bring out your inner monster. Do you honestly believe the heroes would have taken your word on the whole reality warping thing? My trick level is well into the 90s. And the scale caps out at 100, my villainous friend. If what you said about this witch is correct, then her trick level would go beyond the trick scale and be an estimated 950 out of 1,000. Do you see how ridiculous your claim of Witch Briny being able to warp reality was? Yes, that's a good point. It is kind of the reader's fault. A person beside Void's cell explained in familiar mannerisms. How do you know what I explained to the heroes? Void asked, the guy knowing exactly who was beside him. Ah, while you were taking a nap, Moongirl just so kindly explained to the prison guards that you should be watched, especially, and how a so-called friend you were working with. You see, Dweller, you explained a threat to the heroes' very existence. They call themselves heroes, but the moment you bite their hand, they treat you like a villain, and decide everything you say is a lie. Think about it, Dweller. Who are the real bad guys here? Let's team up. And together we can get revenge on the heroes for throwing us in here. What do you say? The villain next door to Void offered to him with a seemingly joyous, confident voice. Void really considered this until the reflection of original Briny popped up in the window. I'm alive! She's alive! We're alive. Shush. I know you want to do... 1 second. La la la! I know you want to do the same thing to Moongirl that she did to you, but now's not the time to be petty, Void. Apex is trying to gaslight you into making your own situation far worse than it already is. Briny's apparition told Void, getting him to realize that the offer would make him look worse in the eyes of the Hero Association and the world. Nah, fuck you, dollar store crisis angel wannabe. Void replied to Apex's offer in the rudest way imaginable. Oh lord, I don't even know how Apex would respond to that. I thought as much for a new villain such as yourself to think you're better off not working with me. As soon as Apex said that in such a disappointed tone, Void's world shattered and became a spitting image of the Forbidden Library itself, with classic Briny reading Moongirl. Void went to sit between them on a sofa. Boop boop. Thank you for joining me on my reading session today. We will read the over-optimistic bookworm that read Moongirl less than respectfully. Our story kicks off with our bookworm hero, should I say villain, at this point, getting hypnotized by an old villain of one of my other books. Briny read out the book, seemingly referencing something. Moongirl and Void listened as she read. The bookworm got hypnotized to dream of himself being in a library. Oh wait, that's this book! Briny continued reading, starting off calm and collected, and then revealed that she's angry at Void. She then hit him in the head with the book, to the point where he woke up. I saved you. I knew kicking you really hard was the right thing to do. A new hero said while kicking Void until he woke up. Now follow me. There's been a mass escaping of prisoners. Since you're a villain, you'll be in our custody for a while, until we can find a better cell for you. The hero told Void as she flew towards a nearby door that led to an exit. As Void finally had his breath of relief, he can finally prove that he was not evil at all. Just an asshole. Once they made it to the top of the prison, there was a woman in a witch hat and an elegant dress, back turned towards the hero and Void. Oh ho ho ho! If it isn't my servant, why would they need a trick suppressor for rubbish like you? Witch Bryony asked, wondering why the prisoners would treat their villains with such redundant things. She waved her hand, exploding the trick-suppressing bracelets that were on his arms and legs. Void's eyes became purple once more. His teeth became beastly again. His eyelids became red, as he was like when he fought Rosa. Now what is this? The cannon fodder gets a form of his own. Oh my! I never allowed this. Yes, but it shall be entertaining to see the limits of this transformation, Evil Bryony stated, slightly shocked that Void of all people would ever evolve into something better than what he was once before. Void looked to his right to look at Apparition Bryony, who had looked hopeless, as if she felt there was nothing she could do. Yeah, I'll defeat her and get your body back, Void reassured her, making Bryony's yourself Void, Evil Bryony asked mockingly, not concerned for his mental state at all. Did you? He asked back more as a smart-ass remark towards the librarian witch. She was stunned, mouth left open, with the way he was talking back to her. My word, I'm going to have to teach you some respect, little mortal man. Oh no, did we go again? Oh no, it's fine. My internet is a wee spotty. I'm sure we'll be fine. Evil Bryony responded, offended that he would be disrespectful towards her. Enough talk. It's showtime, forbidden witch of it's showtime, witch of the forbidden library, Void shouted as he sped right over to Evil Bryony, unleashing a flurry of non-stop punches to be stopped by a magic force field. They were picked up by a gust of wind. You two are really confusing villains. One claims they don't work with the other, yet the other insists they do. The hero... Lanny. The hero said as she picked them up with powerful gusts of wind. Void did something he remembered Rosa doing to him. He used the tornadoes of wind to his advantage by jumping off debris and punching Evil Bryony in every direction, which was still being blocked by her magic barrier. Oh, this is a laugh I do not do, but I am excited to do. Ooh-hoo-hoo! You gotta hit harder if you want to ever hope to break my magic barrier, she mocked with a smirk, but then slowly realized his punching hand was starting to glow orange, and he was going well above the speed of sound, accelerating fast as he was approaching hypersonic speeds. But Witch Bryony wasn't going to sit around and do nothing about it. She formed a bubble of greyness for Void to get caught in. His near hypersonic speeds came to an abrupt halt within the bubble. My favourite kind of magic is chronokinesis. What's that? What's yours, my dear? She said, then asking the frozen Void a rhetorical question. Oh, not going to answer? Then I suppose I shall teach you some manners. She pointed her finger at him, releasing lasers that were meant to hurt him. Little did she know, this only made him start moving. Huh? You're not supposed to be able to move. I made your time 0. That's impossible. Evil Briny raged, as she wasn't expecting him to gain speed in a bubble with 0 time. He was beginning to come out of the bubble of time. Witch Briny sensed something large behind her, so she teleported back onto the balcony where the tornado was. She watched as Moon Girl had tried to throw a blood moon at her. A whole ass moon! A whole ass moon! What is going on? I love it. I love it! Ended up clashing with Void's fist, which was already holding the force of several hundred sonic booms. No! Moon Girl shouted after missing Evil Briny. Ha ha! You hit your allies, silly hero. Tricks are for kids. Tricks are indeed for kids. Witch Briny pointed and laughed at Moon Girl and Void's accidental collision. A moon that's as big as a 5-story building. Okay, not the actual moon. Okay, good to know. Which, This is no moon-level attack, Void cried, struggling to hold back and absorb the blood moon, though it definitely was shrinking. He found the compression of an attack of this magnitude difficult, though slowly and surely he compressed it down enough where he can eat the attack. There is no science to be thought of here, only action. 1 second. I'm going to mute myself. I have some really gross nose noises coming. Okay, we're back. We're fine. Everything's fine. Where were we? Struggling to hold back and absorb the moon. Yes, slowly but surely. Moon Girl's heart was pumping harder. The shock and fear of what could have happened if it managed to take Void out accidentally. She gave a sigh of relief too soon, as his eyes blanked out as if he'd overexerted himself too much. He passed out onto Moon Girl. She stared into his blank eyes and flashed back to previous things Void and Witch Briny said before. Oh, if you win, I give you 10 tons of gold. What rubbish. Void shouldn't win. It'll be boring if he does. Flick. I didn't like working with Witch Briny. I was afraid of her erasing me from existence. That's why I fought you, despite the massive gap in combat experience. Model does go wide when tissues are involved. Moon Girl remembered things Void had told her all along, with things Witch Briny had said in the past. She put Void Dweller, who was unconscious, down. She looked at Witch Briny with a monstrous anger on her face. He is knocked out, but that attack could have killed him, getting me let off being a hero. You'll never trick me like that again. He wanted to be heroic, but you had to make him feel like he was in danger of getting erased, Moon Girl stated, letting out her rage towards Witch Bridie. She clenched her fist so hard that it became orange, without even absorbing any energy. The moon rose behind Moon Girl, giving off the view of Moon Girl standing in front of a supermoon during a confrontation with Witch Bridie. "Aw, you want to cry about me being mean to Void Dweller?" Witch Bridie taunted, waving her hand at Moon Girl. "Turn into mooncake for me. I'm hungry. And I do want to try a sugary snack." Witch Bridie says in a spellcasting form. Spellcasting fashion, shoot out a beam of energy towards Moon Girl. For the energy beam, meant to turn Moon Girl into a tasty treat, to be smacked away by her right hand. Upon closer inspection, Moon Girl seemed to have grown a bird wing on her back that was white. Witch Bridie and Moon Girl fought evenly, for now, as then see what's going on in Void's unconscious brain. How many times must I warn you? You don't know how strong Witch Bridie really is. Fighting her is useless, and even if you do defeat her, you're only beating my body up, Void! Bridie scolded Void for his stubbornness and unwillingness to cooperate with original Bridie. I'm not doing the banishment technique by saying her name, Bridie. Is there some kind of alternative way to get your body back? Void argued with the author. No! The only way is to beat her, is to change your way of approaching her now, Bridie stated, becoming exhausted with him. But Void's eyes lit up as if she gave him the key to beating Witch Bridie without the true name of the witch. A singular wing, apparently. We're doing one-winged angel stuff now. Thank you, Miss Bridie. He thanked her for the first time in this book, an actually grateful expression. She was shocked to see Void hadn't given up. And she wore a surprised expression looking at him. What do you mean? I didn't give you any hints to beating her, Bridie said in a confused voice. With this brand new plan that popped into Void's head, seemingly for no reason, we get to see Moon Girl, Frigittack, and the rest of the heroes on the verge of going down. Why? Are you still able to beat us? Moon Girl asked Witch Bridie out of breath. Oh, my dear silly Moon Girl. My supply of magic is endless. I can do this forever. You could say, I can do this all day. Witch Bridie replied to the almost defeated Moon Girl, who was holding on to their arm, no longer able to dish out the power she was wielding before. Witch Bridie prepared a ball of energy that looked like it'd be the end for Moon Girl. You were a match at first, but I couldn't help but steal some of your energy with my magic. Now then, become a bookmark now, Moon Girl. Wait a minute. No, I can't show it now. Witch Bridie explained to Moon Girl as she threw the ball of energy that surely would turn her into a bookmark for Bridie's books. But it blew up after reaching Moon Girl. Wait a minute. It wasn't supposed to go boom. What happened? I thought I did the right spell, Witch Bridie said, while surprised her magic would explode like that. What could have caused her magic to fail? To do marketable bookmark! 1 second. Yeah. Okay. I should take a drink. failed to do what it was supposed to do. As we get a closer look at Moon Girl, having both eyes shut, blocking, bracing herself to be turned into a bookmark for Witch Bryony to use, she opens her eyes to see a golden apparition of another witch lady, except they seem more ghostly than apparition Bryony, and visible to Moon Girl and Witch Bryony. The smoke cleared, and we see the apparition of a woman dressed in an elegant witch dress. Behind them sat Void, on a higher platform than where the fight was taking place. Well, well, Witch Bryony. Looks like you aren't the only one who can use magic, Void said in an angered but overconfident tone, wearing a smirk on his face as he jumped down to Witch Bryony's level. So she and Moon Girl can get a better view of him. He now had red, glowing, crescent moon-shaped eyes. He was glowing red with a scarlet aura. His hair was spikier with 2 red bangs, and he was sparking with electricity. Transform as many times as you'd like. You'll never get past my magic. None of you will. Witch Bryony became annoyed with how many times she had to deal with people tagging in when the other person loses to her. No, I was planning on trying to beat you right now. Oh, sorry. That would be boring for you, wouldn't it? Since you're obviously in a completely different ballpark as us now. I wanted to make a deal with you, witch. He explained with a devilish smirk on his face. Well, yes, I suppose. It's rather boring fighting you, and the heroes of this world, since my magic works on everyone here like nothing. What's your deal, Void? I don't have much time, so tell me fast. Witch Bryony is rather impatiently awaiting Void's deal as she's tired of being here. I could make a deal. Obviously it has to be good for me and good for you. Give me and the heroes 2 years' worth of prep time to find a trickster who can defeat you. That way it's more fun for both of us. 2 years for me to get stronger and come up with a strategy, and so that you have countermeasures for anything my lowly mortal human brain can come up with. What do you say, witch? Do we have a deal? Void proposed as he approached Witch Bryony, to make eye contact and shake her hand. You do bring up a point. It's like a chess game. Chess game. Very well. I shall give you 2 years' worth of prep time to come back to face me. Waste those 2 years and you will regret everything, ever trying to attack me. She agreed, then shook Void's hand. She then teleported away, leaving Void and the heroes on the prison. Moongon got up, and then walked over to Void. Hey, what are you planning? You're stronger. You have a new form, so what's the deal? She asked in a sudden burst of anger. Yes, you let her go. You don't have any injuries like we do. A battered, frigid hack also yelled at him. Hey, guys, calm down. I think he wants to join our side. Dart Tornado is the wind hero, by the way, that had showed up before. She hadn't been named until now. Dart Tornado said, trying to tone down the rage of the other 2 heroes. I have a plan, but I don't want to risk being hurt by Witch Bryony in case she's still snooping around. Void said calmly, yet still unable to wipe the grin off his face. What is your plan? Apparition Bryony asked him. Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Yes, I would, actually, very much so. He responded to her question, not even answering it. They got on a helicopter to leave. The injured heroes were taken to a funded hospital. Void was later let into the hero base, but had to be supervised by the leader at all times. He would now have to take the role of hero, not because he had the morals, but because he was their only shot at beating Witch Bryony. Oh. Incident report! There was a apologies for the voice. There was a prison breakout, with most supervillains attempting to escape containment. Apex is suspicious of working with the Witch of the Forbidden Realm. Most villains were recaptured and relocated at site redacted. However, Apex and the Witch got away, with an unexpected turn of events happening. As the Dweller was being escorted out of the prison to be relocated, he decided to fight against the Witch with the intent to subdue them, though he says he wasn't holding back. Moon Girl accidentally threw a fucking moon at which he absorbed, thankfully, but couldn't handle the overflow of energy that was contained within him, thus passing out temporarily on the battlefield, with Moon Girl taking it upon herself to fight the Witch. She fought evenly until she seemed to be losing power faster than she can gain power from her weird transformation. After Moon Girl was defeated, Frigid Hack stepped in, but to no avail. No matter what trickster fought her, it was all in vain to defeat her. Well, until the Dweller rose back up from the ground to accept he didn't try to fight. Oh, round 2 was in a round 2, because I thought about the 2 years. I thought it was supposed to be referring to that, but hey-ho. He didn't try to fight the Witch at all out of cowardice or cunning. He struck a deal with the Witch, surprisingly not even attempting to stop her anymore. He always wore an evil grin on his face. He never disclosed his plan despite the Witch leaving. Maybe he was afraid of the Witch hearing what he'd come up with, despite not being around. The idea of the Witch hiding somewhere made everyone shiver. The heroes who fought the Witch were taken to a hospital at Redacted, excluding Moon Girl and our new guy who turned a new leaf, Dweller. He was very hesitant on who he could trust with his plan until he let Trish know what he wanted to try in secret. Trish is the leader of the heroes, by the way. Trickster updated file. The Dweller can now create ghostly apparitions with his energy, and has yet another appearance change. Moon Girl has one wing that gives her some level of magic resistance that lets her block otherwise instant death tricks fired at her. Confidential log. Dweller's plan questioning file. So, have a seat, Void, was it? So tell me, what is your plan? What do you want to be spilled so badly? What don't you want to be spilled so badly? Dweller. That the Witch has a weakness. She stole that body. Is there any trickster on file that can swap bodies? I need to have the Witch leave my friend's body. Trish. Whoa, slow down. One thing at a time. We can get to the bottom of this. You're telling me a trickster stole the body of your friends and is using it like it's theirs? Oh, that's such a silly thing. Why would she do that? Obviously it's her own body. This is lies and slander. Dweller. Yes, the owner of that body is actually a good person. Trish. Now, why do you want a trickster who can switch bodies with people? Dweller. It's simple. They can just switch into the body of a useless animal, then switch into the body of the Witch. Trish. So your little plan relies solely on a body-swapping trickster swapping witch into a useless animal. You do realize that's unfair for the creature you would be using for your plan, right? Well, okay, if it's a machine the trickster possesses, then the witch would negate any of that. I don't think there's a trickster like that running around. Ah, yes, you were talking about the swapping bodies thing a lot. I see this has come up. But if we can find one, we will let you know. We don't do anything unethical around here, even if it is the only solution that we can think of. I believe you can think of a better way of splitting this witch from your friend. I do feel sorry for your friend who got possessed by a trickster. Is there any way you can make a search team for the proper ethical trickster I asked for? Finding a trickster that can possess both humans and machinery is big ask, even for us. We simply don't have the budget for that sort of thing. As if we could just buy people. Then I guess you don't have the budget to defeat Witch Briny. ... Trish. You're dismissed. We will have this conversation again another day, when you've gotten your temper straight. Maybe I should send you to search for the right trickster you're looking for on your own! Maybe then you'll have what you need after 2 years are over. End log. Chapter 4, Moon Dweller. We return to our story, see Void putting on a vest in a test room. Now, we adjusted the room just for you to let us know if you're feeling any kind of danger. A voice rang out from an intercom, talking to Void, seeming to come from a voice from a person behind a window with a couple of others. Go all out, Trish said to Void. Probably Claire, I assume. Yes, I think it's swapping minds technically. Or swapping the body of other things, because I assume this trickster that they want to get would not swap their own body for the witch, because that would be counterproductive. Trish said to Void. He then took the advice and then powered up into his final form that he obtained after absorbing Moongirl's moon attack. Electricity sparked all over his body. A digitized humanoid materialized in the room. Void, in a blip, impaled the digitized humanoid through the chest with his hand, and several more appeared, just to be quickly taken out. He dispersed a ring of red energy to slice in half a lot of digitized beings. He is fast, and has quite an arsenal. He seems to be going for get-the-job-done-fast strategy, Trish stated, as the room seemed to adapt to the Void, ever so slowly, until after he found it easy to make quick work of even higher-tier tricksters, the room decided the best adaptation to properly fit Void's power was to fabricate a mythical being not of this world. Okay, so I feel like Void's not we need to do some extra explaining here. So there's a simulation room in the Hero Association where they test tricksters on their combat and trick power. Normally it doesn't go this far because normally people are not as powerful as this fanfic in the Moon Girl world. Don't worry, it's not a plot hole. It's a fanfiction. You can do what you want with it. I'm just clarifying people, that's all. That's all. A fanfic does not have to fit in with the canon. That is absolutely fine that it is wild and wonderful. An 8-foot bipedal lion-like creature with divine rings over its back, a majestic white hair longer than that of SSJ3 Goku's. The environment in the room turning into that sort of cathedral all too familiar with Void and nobody else. Whoa, I've never seen fantasy creatures like this before. Nothing appears like a celestial being like that. Rosa claimed, seeming impressed that there were, in fact, fantastic creatures she'd never heard of. Void clashed with this celestial being, which finally made his right hand glow orange. Every time their punches collided, neither of them can be seen. A small shock wave that seems to be contained can be every time their fists collide. Void went for an uppercut, but the celestial being double axe hammered him, knocking him back onto the ground. It then punched, aiming at his head, for him to dodge and then parry the next punch coming his way, then running up its muscular arm, and began holding its neck with one arm, then using the stored energy to release non-stop blasts upon the beast's face. The beast responded by grabbing him by the arm that was around its neck. Void quickly readjusted, using his attack arm to continue firing blasts at his face, making it throw Void in the air. He did several backflips, landing on his feet. He parried another punch this time, grabbing its face with his glowing orange arm. This surprised the people behind the window. Hey, that isn't a trickster the computer replicated, Rosa stated, both confused at what the computer made, and somewhat impressed that he was holding his own against this thing. Well, there was an update to the test room after that witch lady came here. The computer simply took the data from Void's memory to create a being that could outmatch his power, producing accurate test results. Trish explained to Drader, who didn't quite understand any of this tech stuff. The problem with swapping minds is that normal Briny would be swapped out, but witch Briny would still be possessing someone. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. But we'll see how it goes, shall we? How it is written. As Void would fight a seemingly unwinnable battle, we set our focus on Tim, who was looking on a mobile device that seemed to have belonged to Void. Maybe these left open apps can point towards a clue as to who Witch Briny is. I'm surprised his internet is working here, but whatever. Wait, he was telling the truth all along, Tim said to himself, shocked to see his findings on Void's phone. He skimmed across some videos doing research on Witch Briny, now that he's hacked into Void's phone. We returned to Void, who now had a demon horns in his new form, fighting against the celestial being, which seemed to be the complete opposite of Void. He formed a red saber blade out of his arm, and then sliced one of the arms of the celestial off, grabbing it, then sapping every remaining bit of energy out of it, then punching the godly creature in the face, after forming a claw that poked out of his knuckles. Finally taking the god-beast down, he breathed a sigh of exhaustion, since that was a lot to take down even for someone who's been getting constant power-ups. At least he is self-aware. You did it. You definitely passed, Trish said through the intercom. Drader approached him as he took the vest off, handing him his light jacket that he had taken off before the test. I don't know why you like wearing this. It's not even that cold outside, she commented. I don't like showing my phone in my butt pocket, Rosa. It makes it easier to listen to music. I don't like shoving my phone in my butt pocket, Rosa. Ah, okay. But don't guys have good front pockets? Why do you need it in your butt pocket? Don't guys, like, front pockets go, like, all the way down their thighs? Is that not okay? Void told her. He scrambled to find his phone, realizing it wasn't in any of his jacket's pockets. I'm sure you'll find it, Drada said, trying to reassure him. Now follow me. She directed Void to follow her, and Claire is another hero, for the record. Still too low. You have a big phone. Into an office where he sat down at a long table with Rosa and Claire on the opposite sides. Claire pulled out just recently printed sheet of paper that seemed to be like the results of something. She sipped on her tea just before coming to a shocking realization. It was a good thing that she didn't spit out her tea like a cartoon character. Claire, what do the test results say about his trick level? I have a good idea about his combat level, so I'm interested in the trick level. Drada asked, curious about what Void's trick level could be. Claire showed Drada the paper for her to not so shocked about it when his trick level became a 100. Meanwhile, his combat level was still at 80. Still at 80, it says, like that's a bad thing. That's still incredibly high. Which is impressive for someone who didn't even know martial arts to begin with, and slowly learned it as he fought. But the trick level felt like an understatement, since Drada had a taste of that power herself. Claire, Rosa, so nice of you to escort our new guy here, but I need to talk to him without either of you around. 1 second, my nose is being stupid again. Oh, lordy. Why are these mortal bodies so fragile and so easily infected? Ugh. Oh well, we're nearly there. We're a good 3/4 of the way through this. We shall get to the end. Trish walked in, asking them to leave. A still flabbergasted Claire rose from her seat along with Drada, and both walked out of the office. How should I approach this? Before you took that test, Rosa retook hers, to also be a trick level 100. Trish stated, having trouble not sounding too overwhelmed by what the sheer difference in trick level could be from now and then. I got 100. I think I'm going to need over 9,000 trick level if I want to do anything to Witch Briny. Hey, do you have a training machine? I want to get stronger. Void stated nonchalantly, forgetting what tricksters have to go through if they show they have powers. No, and why? Trish answered 3 of the things Void had suggested, then asking why he wanted to get stronger. Yes, it does definitely not go above 100. Huh? He looked confused at Trish. Why what? He asked, hoping she'd rephrase the question. Why do you want to get stronger? You're already too strong as it is. So why do you want to get even stronger? She asked him, making herself clear. If I don't get strong, I won't be able to separate the witch's spirit from normal Bryony. He answered, not sure as to why he'd even want to be stronger despite being a trickster now. Rosa said your beast form was equal to her blood moon form. That was tested to have a trick level 100. She stated, talking about Moon Girl's first form she got from Witch Briny. So if my first form was able to reach supersonic speeds, and I was able to keep up with normal Moon Girl with no transformation, that should put me with no forms at peak human at bare minimum. And the fastest runner I can run at around 30 miles an hour. I think I should make my first form a 26% a 26 times multiplier, which according to you, that would make her have a trick level of 100 if she's able to use the same trick that I used to contain the sonic booms that would have destroyed stuff. I absorbed one of her moon blasts she accidentally hit me with. I believe it was the size of a 5-story building, so my guess is that my second form is somewhere around 347,000 times greater than my first form. I got my third and final form today because I felt like I was fighting a creature that had the potential to become a living planet. Oh, this is a thing I am reading. A living planet, so if I'm generous, I think that. As Void was fascinated at the big numbers of his power. Yes, we love big numbers basically meaning nothing. As Void was fascinated at the big numbers of his power, Trish cut him off, having enough of it. I get it. You can flick entire continents off the map. But do you really want to be this powerful? Your trick level is way beyond 100. I don't want to hear how far beyond 100 it is. I just know that it's beyond 100, and that's the worrying part. She tried to explain to him, attempting to get it through his head. Why is it bad that I'm this strong? I thought strong meant good. I can defeat the bad guys more easily. He asked, really not knowing why he shouldn't try getting stronger. You'll cause yourself to get a lot of unwanted attention. From not only us, but villains that may want to take advantage of you, she said, explaining what would happen. When people know of a trickster with a trick level beyond 100... Well, Rosa got a new form after Blood Moon Eyes. Why aren't you talking to her about this? He asked Trish, revealing for the first time that Moon Girl had a one-winged Moon Girl form beyond the Blood Moon Eyes form. Her eyes widened. Wait, she got another form? Trish asked him, shocked that Rosa was hiding a second form. Of course she bloody was, because she knows how dangerous this is, unlike you. Yep, he stated casually. Well, trick level aside, you can't keep calling yourself Void. Have an official new name you'd like to call yourself, she asked, changing the topic from the power talk. Will Boulder Incurumia work? He asked, coming up with a weird name. Are you sure you want to be referred to as Badler? Trish asked, lifting an eyebrow. Well, it's a reference to one of my favorite characters, Void said, justifying his reference. Now let's try to come up with a brand for you, Badler. You appear to be very demonic in both appearance and how you use your trick. You absorb the kinetic energy of yourself. Badler. Yes, Badler. You absorb the kinetic energy of yourself and your foes. Not only that, you seem to absorb other forms of energy like plasma, divine, and life. As if divine and life and plasma... It's so silly and I love it. I love it! It is wonderful. It seems your ability revolves around your absorption. My first hero name I got for you is Parasite Demon. Trish went to the next thing to start up a list. Void wondered a bit, then gave an approving face. That doesn't sound catchy, he said. Okay, you don't like the name. Then next we have is Divine Eclipse. Trish went to the next name. Void lifted an eyebrow. I like this one. But why? He asked, clueless as to why a name having to do with the moon was picked for him. Because you absorbed one of Moon Girl's attacks, becoming something else from it, eclipsing what you were moments before. She answered, talking about the prison fight. One second. Whoa. Talking about the prison fight. Where was that? I think I'll go with Divine Eclipse. He stated, satisfied with the name. And with that, you are dismissed, he said, leading him out of the office. As Void continued the hero starting progress, he was rudely interrupted by alarms going off. Just as I was being shown the ropes. What now? Void growled, getting out of an angered response to the hero alarm. He heard loud blast noises coming from the lower floor, with growling. I know it's your first day on the job, but all hands on deck, Badler, Trish ordered as they both raced towards where the commotion could be coming from. We see a villainess holding a golden staff with a goat head, with 2 ram horns protruding from both sides, and wearing what seemed to be a witch dress. Did she get bored? Though very familiar to the hero association, it was an old villain in a different costume than usual. I feat you to Undertaker. I don't care what new power you got, Drader told the floating witch villain on empty threats as she was out of breath. The lobby area had been filled with heroes, out cold on the ground, and there was an energy sphere in the air. You barely have the energy to even stand upright, let alone fight. How do you plan to defeat me? The witch villain mocked Drader, as she was then punched in the back of the head by a flying punch from Void Dweller himself. I'm tired of trouble approaching my doorstep and following me everywhere I go, Void stated as he slammed the amped Undertaker's face into the ground by punching her, leaving no crater due to him containing the energy required to make one in his attacking hand. He put her hand on his attacking hand, then tightened her grip on his hand, sucking the nutrients right out of his arm. Ah, so you're a Metroid, huh? Yes, Undertaker is. Undertaker is a villain from the second book, if you are wondering. She has the power to basically suck out people's life energy. He commented, not even caring his power was being taken from him. He grabbed her face, doing the same to her. Do you really think doing it back to me will really get you anywhere? I am a master of sapping life out of anything I touch. I assume Metroid liked the game. She stated, insulted that someone would try to play trainees with her. She then put both hands on Void's face, with her goat-headed staff draining his life even faster. She was a true evil witch, like Witch Briny, almost like she was granted this level of necromancy by Witch Briny herself. Void collapsed, losing 90% of his muscle mass, and his appearance was now that of a dead man walking. Drader, holding one of her arms, cried out, Dweller, no! You could have saved yourself, you were in training! She cried to the now taken down Void. Oh well, Rosa, you win some, you lose some. I guess he knew he was risking his life, and he played right into my hands. The new Undertaker talked down to Drada, turning her back to Void, who twitched his right hand, with the orange glow disappearing into nothing. Drada looked to the powered-up villain in the eyes as she monologues to her. You see, my new master, Witch Briny, told me about this place so I could easily infiltrate it to find you and Void. I will steal your life energy. And the life force of everyone in this city to make Witch Briny even stronger. Necromancer Undertaker monologue to typical villainous lines that villains usually do with heroes. Drada broke eye contact for a moment, to see Void had regained 100% of his body mass back, and she felt like she never had hers taken as well. Now, I'm sorry to have to do this, but she waved out a hand holding a spell book. She couldn't have her magic spells memorized. Your form will bend to my will. You will turn into a useless butterfly that I will smash in my hands. She chanted a spell, casting way towards Drada, who felt nothing. Literally nothing happened. Huh? Why did it work? Surely I didn't get the transmutation spell incorrect. She stopped, realizing the spell she attempted to cast wasn't even the book to begin with. How? It was there, and she was cut off from Void, rising from the ground. Butterfly? I've never heard of anything like that. You must really love books that are all fantasy. Butterflies don't exist, so a spell to turn someone into a butterfly can't exist. So it had to disappear from your spellbook. Void explained to her. What? Then I'll have to summon my master, Witch Briny. She spoke incoherently, trying to perform another spell, but again nothing happened. Again she was shocked that the trick she tried didn't work. Oops, it looks like the fast travel is all fantasy. I hope you can undertake that knowledge in. Wow, that is terrible, honestly. That's one of your worst puns, honestly, Void Dweller. He sneered at giving off more than one demonic grin. Giving off a more demonic grin, not more than one. Ugh. Wait, no! I had you down! This can't be! Your gravity will become 1,000,000 times greater than the gravity of everyone else, thus crushing you to death! She tried yet another spell in vain, as it too disappeared from her spellbook. Gravity? What science fiction is that? Don't you think Isaac Newton is all fantasy? He stated, causing pens, tables, and peoples, and everything to begin floating off the ground. Fine. Since you like erasing universal laws, there's one law you can't erase. And that's my life-absorbing trick, you fool! Undertaker shouted, becoming frustrated at the one turning everything she was doing into fantasy. She charged over to him, grabbing his face, to see her usual trick no longer worked. What? She let out in defeat. Your trick is all fantasy. Void stated clearly. He grabbed her staff from her as she was cut off by Drada, who had been fully recovered. She looked at Void for a few seconds, then focused on getting the villain out of the building. Trish walked up behind Void. I know you're not planning on taking that staff home, are you, Badler? It could be evidence. Trish ordered him, prompting him to put the staff down. So, how do I clock out, Miss Trish? So, is gravity just not a thing anymore, or did he put it back? I don't know. What is going on? I'm exhausted from all of this, he asked. He didn't even look like he was tired. Very well, you're off for tonight. By the time you come back, we'll have relocated for security. Trish stated, dismissing him from today's workday. He then walked out of the front doors, walking through a dark, quiet neighborhood at night time. You forgot to bring it back. So it did come back then. You just haven't written it. What was it? At nighttime, he looked up at the moon to see it wasn't super anymore. He noticed a blue car drive next to him. He looked at the driver to see Tim roll down the window. First thing, who makes their password 4 consecutive numbers? Second thing, which Bryony and you come from that forbidden library? Third thing, never leave your stuff out where a villain can snatch it up. Now that is Tim's swag if I have ever read it. 10 out of 10. Which Bryony, so to answer your question, Lucas, which Bryony upgraded a villain of mine called Undertaker, who Void beat by deleting universal concepts? Simple, really. And now Void's going home and Tim found him. Tim said to Void, who was on the sidewalk, "Get in, I want to talk to you." He ordered, to which Void opened one of the backseat doors and, moving in to sit in the middle seats. Drader was in the passenger seat. Tim plopped the phone on his lap to reveal YouTube had been opened. On it. "So what's your new name? I don't want to keep calling you Void," Tim asked. "It's Badler now." Void answered. Drader and Tim both looked at each other. It confused them with such a weird name. "Well, Badler, we just need to get Witch Bryony's true name. And I'm talking about the spirit controlling the actual Bryony." Tim started explaining the first part of the plan, for Void to have a sus expression on his face. "What?" Tim asks. "Did you know, look at everything." Void asked him. "I have never been so afraid." Drader began singing. "I have never been so afraid." Yes, we've seen Lovetown. He clarified. I did kind of want to say bladder, I will admit. So anyways, our goal is to learn the witch's name and banish her out of good Bryony's body, at least into something like a mirror, so she can never be a threat to any of us again. He explained the plan to Void. "So when do we initiate the plan?" Void asked. "Now," Drader said, as the car began driving off. "Oh, you've got to go?" Well, that's a shame, Void. Well, we've got through most of it. I think there's literally just this little bit left. A couple of paragraphs and your little goodbye at the end. Thank you so much for this fanfic. It's been amazing and hilarious. It's been so much fun. Thank you, Void. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Tragedy report. An old villain broke into the hero headquarters and sapped everyone's energy away until Badler came through and put an end to it. It all worked out in the end, since he gained an erasure trick, which he defeated what seemed to be a witch minion with. End of report. End of part 1 of this story also. It's going to continue, oh no. Yo, it's me, Void Dweller. I hope this story doesn't feel like you read a soap opera or something. This is my first fanfic that I tried to get on a YouTuber's stream/video, so I'm not that confident in my ability to tell a story. If you liked this, I may release part 2 of the story. I thought about putting it all in part 1, but I got too afraid of deadlines that I decided to cut the story in half. I hope you loved this fanfic. I did love this fanfic. It was crazy. It was bonkers. but it was a lot of fun. And that's all fan fiction needs to be, just a lot of fun. I really appreciated this. This was really fun. This is the first fanfic I have received for myself or for my books. And it actually has so much revitalized my motivation to write more in general, that someone's enjoyed my books so far, and myself, that they wanted to write this in the first place. Thank you so much, Void. You don't know how much your enthusiasm has really ignited my passion again for writing as well. It's burned away a lot of barriers and a lot of block that I was experiencing. And don't worry, Lucas, I will be going too, because as you can probably hear, I'm somewhat struggling now, but I really wanted to get through this, and I'm glad we did. So thank you, everyone who in the chat. Thank you, everyone who lurked, and thank you to everyone in the future who may be watching from a VOD. Thank you, Void, so much for this fanfiction. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please consider giving it a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. Other than that, there's lots of fun things to click in my description, but I will end my shilling there because my throat is tired and I need to rest it. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I had fun. I really do hope you had fun. This has been Bryony Rose Smith live from the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.